Hey, welcome to the Treehouse Athenaeum, a place to discover the tools that empower you to embrace both the beauty and challenges of personal growth. There are so many branches leading to your roots. Come on, let's explore.
Good morning, Daniela.
Good morning, Lisa.
It's actually morning for both of us, but you know what? It's more morning-y for me, so I will cheers you shortly. Man, talk about the difference between a Floridian and anyone else.
Yeah, it's always iced coffee time, even when it's cold.
You know, a lot of people subscribe to that belief, and I am very supportive of it, but I am just a hot coffee kind of gal. Like, if the weather is going to permit, then I am going to take advantage of that, because look how cozy. I feel so cozy.
You look cozy.
Hugging my little hands.
Mm-hmm. I mean, me too. Do you know, it is 77 degrees already and only increasing, so I will be hugging this when I go outside too.
Well, I guess it's like 10 o'clock where you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's 53 where I am, and 70.
Sounds like
70.
a dream.
It's 7-Eleven. It is 7-Eleven right now. Okay. You know when it's not 7-Eleven?
When?
Probably for whomever's listening to this right now. That would just be like a remarkable coincidence if it was 7-Eleven. Daniela.
Lisa?
You're so dumb.
The sad thing is I believe that, but
What? No, I don't mean it. Take it back.
No, I don't mean I believe you think that, but it's easy to convince me of that. Yeah, Lisa, there's no way they care what you think.
Hey, you don't get to say that
so
to
weird.
me. Only I get to say that to me. What the hell, Daniela?
I wanted to cry as soon as I said that. I was, are you saying that?
Okay, so today, if you're feeling a little bit like, what are these two doing? Is this the same podcast I've been listening to? It is the same podcast you've been listening to. We do love each other very much. And
Yes.
Today we are going to talk about how we use language to undermine ourselves. How we use language to undermine ourselves. So Daniela, you want to talk a little bit about how this came up?
Yes. So I actually have a fun story to tie into this. The first time this ever occurred to me, I was in New Orleans and we went to go get a tarot reading, and she met us in this cat cafe, and it was like so fun and picturesque because it was raining, because of course it's New Orleans and like cobblestone streets. Anyway, it was just, there's this cute picture of me holding an umbrella right outside the cafe, and I love it. And she started to, or I started to shuffle, or something happened. I messed something up. I said out loud, "Ugh, I'm such an idiot." And she stopped me and she was like, "Would you talk to a child like that?" And I was like, "Of course not." And she was like, "Then don't talk to yourself like that." And I was like, "Oh." And it had never occurred to me that thought. She was like, remember, talk to yourself like you would talk to a child, because you're talking to your inner child sometimes. And so so that's the first time I ever heard about that. And did I correct that behavior? No. So here we are talking about it, because it is something that can just permeate. I mean, like, how you talk to yourself, what you say to yourself, the things that you reinforce, beliefs that are not necessarily real, have an impact on how you carry yourself.
Absolutely. And how old were you when that story happened?
25.
Okay. So you had already spent 25 years with this particular belief, because it was already second nature to you to be saying things like that, right? So of course you were not going to be able to unwrite that over time, or, that on the spot is what I'm trying to say. Because you may have heard that thing about how a habit takes 21 days to form. It takes 66 days for a new neural pathway to form. Like, your brain doesn't really care. If you miss a day, it's not going to write you like an excuse slip. Like, you need to keep on it to keep that momentum going. And I'm willing to bet that you hadn't been practicing that for 66 days consecutively after that moment.
But she does pop into my head anytime I think it. Like, anytime I think it or say it out loud, I think of her.
I believe that. I actually have a similar story. When I was a lot younger than that, I think I was in like 6th grade, 7th grade, and we went to a ropes course. I used to think ropes courses were so fun, and then I did one as an adult, and I was like, oh my God, why does anyone go up this high? But anyway, so I go on this ropes course, and I was talking to the instructor, and I was like, I can't do this. I am super athletically challenged. And he looked at me, and he's like, well, if you say it that way, you're always going to be that way. And I was like... And then I didn't listen to him because I was in 6th or 7th grade. But, like, he had a point. If I keep telling myself that, then my brain is going to look for the evidence to support that. And that's kind of a beefy thing to wrap your head around. You know, there's a lot of self-accountability that goes into that. And then it's like, comes right back to you saying the terrible things. Well, why didn't you figure this out? Didn't you see that? That's so obvious, stupid. And then if you say that, your subconscious is this tiny little 6-year-old that takes everything literally, and it's like, okay, yes, I am very stupid. Let me look for all the reasons that's true, and then maybe you'll like me for it. You know, that maybe I'll be just smart enough that I can show you you're right. And like, who is that helping?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I catch myself like a million times a day doing this at work too. Because if I like it, the most minor thing can trigger me being like, you fucking idiot. And I say it at my desk, like just out loud, you know, under my breath, but like still bad habits.
They are bad habits, but you know what? We are doing the best we can with the information that we have available to us at any given time. And sometimes that information that is being given to you is a liar. So for today, we're going to do an experiment. You may have caught on that Daniela and I are very into experimenting within the container of the podcast. And we are doing another wheel of context today, but this time it's with an actual wheel. So how this is going to work is Daniela and I have preloaded some different horrible things that we say to ourselves on the wheel, and then we are going to spin the wheel and take turns saying them to each other's faces.
Ugh, here we go.
I don't know if we've talked enough, you know, about our emotional signs every single podcast, but this is a refresher. Daniela is a Virgo moon, which means she's got great attention to detail. She is very nurturing, but also she's really critical of herself for just about everything. Mm-hmm. And I have that Cancer moon that is like, having a Cancer moon is kind of like when you get a sunburn and then you like feel the fresh skin under there, and you're like, that is way too near to be touching.
That's such a great description. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it fits. I burn very, very easily, so. Okay, just remember that.
Yep.
Okay, so let's pull up the wheel. So our beautiful wheel is filled with terrible things that we say to each other. Daniela, would you like to rock, paper, scissors, or who has to throw the first punch?
Yeah, that seems fair.
Okay, are we going to rock, paper, scissors, shoot this? Or just...
Yeah.
Okay. Rock, paper,
scissors, shoot.
Okay, we both did scissors.
Yep. Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
So
you got me. You got me.
So you go first.
You got me with the rock. Okay, so I have to throw the punch at you first? Okay. All right. Let's spin it up.
Oh, God, why am I nervous?
What's it gonna be? Because I'm about to be mean to you and you know it. You know why you're nervous, Daniela?
Why?
It's because you're not smart enough for this. I'm sorry. Where did that hit you? Where did you feel that when I said that?
Probably my stomach, like my gut. Felt like a gut punch.
A gut punch? Tell me more.
Well, I don't remember if I submitted this or you submitted this, but I definitely... this is one of the things I tell myself before I have the opportunity to give an opinion about something or an analysis about something, if it's not something that I like know for sure that I'm like an expert level in this thing, like I could be, you know, really like super knowledgeable, but not an expert. And my version of an expert is definitely different than I think what normal people think is an expert. So there's that too. But I tell myself this in order to keep my mouth shut, because I'm like, they do not like you're going to embarrass yourself. Don't do that.
Really? Well, I think your assertion of I don't know who put this on the wheel is right, because I also forget which one of us put this on here. But I experience it differently. Unlike you, I don't do the best job of, dang it, see, it was there. I have historically been not that great at thinking before I speak. So what I'll do is I will go forth and be like, here's this, and that. It just occurred to me. It feels like it's going to bubble out of me if I don't say it. And then while I'm in the process of saying it, I'm like, what are you doing? You're not smart enough for this. They all know that. They all know that you were, you know, just a server for 15 years. And so how would you possibly know anything like that? And, you know, they're taking notes so they can laugh about this later. As far as I know, that's not true.
No.
That's not true.
No. But I fall into the server thing too. You've only just now been in this like nice corporate job for like not even 2 years. They definitely like, you have no experience in this. But it's like the things that I'm telling myself I have no experience in are like people. I have no experience in people, Daniela, really? Like, come on.
I would say you're an expert at that, at people. Like, you should have a podcast about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just work here. Okay. All right. I'm kind of done looking at this one. Let's go ahead and take this off the wheel.
Cool.
And are you ready to throw
I'm ready.
my way?
Yes.
Am I ready?
Are you?
No. Do it for the content.
Ooh, I think I know this one because I think this one is mine. They do not care what you think. I said it at the top of the podcast and I meant it. No, I don't mean it.
I don't believe you. Now, see, I love this. You have to unpack why they didn't mean it right here, right now. Haha. No, I'm telling you.
Me? Oh. Okay, first of all, as someone who regularly hears what you think, I find it very valuable because my brain doesn't work like that. So just from my own perspective, I do actually give a shit what you think immensely. I know we talked about this, I think, was this in Apollo? I think where you were like, my board of directors. Like, you are in my board of directors too. Like, it is definitely, exclusively because of how you think. So, and also, I think when someone is like, I don't care what you think, it's a defense mechanism because what you said is already out there. You know, sticks and stones may break my bone, that whole little, but words can never hurt me. No, it is the opposite. The words can hurt you more than the sticks and stones unless it's death. Yeah, I mean, how many times have you, like, kept something on a loop that someone said to you, even if it was offhanded, that you just never forgot because of how it impacted you? So I don't know that someone can ever convince, that's not fair. I don't know that I believe every time when someone says, I don't care what you think or what you say. And I'm like, but what I said is already in the air. So you have to live with that now.
Yeah. I felt that like right behind the bottom of my rib cage. Like I was just like, ugh, kind of this like gross feeling, and my heart's like yelling down, like, what do you think you're doing down there? This isn't for us. And there's just this internalization. So when I hear something like this, they do not care what you think. I actually think a lot about this man that I worked with at the Jungle Cruise. His name is George. I really hope George is having a nice day. Anyway, we were doing some opening procedures one day, and I was talking to him about how frustrated I would get when I would have a boat full of people that didn't laugh. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm putting so much into this. Like, I really, really care about this job, and it's a lot of fun, and it like really gets me down when people aren't laughing at my corny jokes about animals. And he just looked at me and he said, Lisa, do you laugh out loud every time you watch TV? And I was like, no. And he goes, do you still think it's funny? And I was like, yes. And he's like, well, see, there you go. You have no idea what's on anybody's mind. They could be just quietly appreciating it. So George, sweet George, is the voice that I have in my mind when I catch myself thinking this, and then I'm able to turn it around. But that's a big piece of what we're talking about. You need to be able to identify these things for yourself so that you can rewrite them rather than continuing to internalize them. It's a big part of self-care. I hope you like that. I hope you like that thought.
Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay.
Whew.
All right. This is a terrible idea. Whose idea was this? That was negative self-talk. I just did it. It was my idea. Okay. Money is for other people, not you. Daniela, you don't deserve money. Oof. Literally everyone in the world deserves it except for you. You should be happy to have, just enough to get by. There are people in, other countries that don't.
This brings me, first of all, I felt that like in my heart, like in my chest, and then made me think, this is probably getting into a niche topic that we're not going to fully explore enough to even really worth be mentioning, but I'm going to do it anyway. Growing up with my mom, we've all heard about my backstory. Mm-hmm. Growing up with my mom in this community, or like within this practice of being like a medium and whatever, the idea of what to charge people for services has always been a really rough territory, because when you're in the healing space, it's like, how do you charge someone to heal? Like, it feels icky, it feels weird, and that has definitely sunk into my brain. It's hard. And I feel like if you're someone who believes this, the whole money is for other people, not you. If you're telling yourself that, you have value, you're bringing value, and the value is going to come back to you if you believe in it.
So if I think I understand what you're saying. Tell me if I'm wrong. The value is going to come back to you if it's... Wait, what was the last part of it? The value's going to come back to you? If you
believe in it. If you believe the value, yeah.
Right. Okay. So what you're saying is, if there's like meat, like heft behind your gifts, like you're not just sitting there scamming, essentially, or like saying what it is that you need them to hear. There's actual value in it. Then that value is going to find you again, whether it's like monetarily from the person that you're talking to, or like karma's going to do its thing and give you that kind of like repayment in a different way. Yeah. But, okay. I'm with you there. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing to think about is the concept of karma is one, like, I don't know, you hear karma and it's like, oh yeah, I want something bad to happen to you because you screwed me over. But that's not necessarily the full picture, I guess. Mm-hmm. Karma is also really good, right? That's why you're putting good things out into the universe. And it doesn't mean that those things are always going to come back to you from the same source. Right. Which I think is really, really important to remember. So, like, yeah, I've had kind of terrible, unsupportive friends in my life, but now I have you who is coming in and helping me sift through all of those different things, and then some things that I didn't even think were going to be a part of my life. So yeah, that karma, it comes back. That value, it comes back. Okay.
So Lisa, this is yours. How and when do you tell yourself this?
So this is a thing that I have actively been working on for, I would say, the last 3 or 4 years. because I'm really trying to change my mindset around money. If you're repeating the same things over and over to yourself, we already went through this, you're going to find ways to confirm that that's true. So if I'm constantly saying that money is for other people, or I just need enough to get by, then that's all my brain is going to come up with. So in thinking this, it's more like, yes, money is here to support the things that I want. Like, I know that I can trust myself with money because not all of us are Elon Musk. And, like, you don't need to have billions and billions of dollars to be able to support the life that you want and the life that feels resonant to you. So the more that you kind of put yourself down in this way, the less likely it is that you'll be able to come up with those kind of like flash in the pan ideas that end up being like really, really helpful for you. So I put this on here not because it's something that I say to myself anymore, but because it was like a really chunky limiting belief for me to have to chip away at for a long time. Oof. And I hear a lot of my clients when I'm talking to them talk about how they just want enough to get by. They just want enough to not have to live paycheck to paycheck. As if asking for more than that is somehow like a flaw on their character. But it's not a thing where you're asking to take someone else's resources. It's a thing where you're asking to be able to enjoy the space that you occupy in the world. And from that vantage point, I really think it would be advantageous for everyone to pick up that mindset, because then you see your friends accepting what they deserve and you begin to think, okay, well, maybe then I should accept the things that I deserve. But it's a real act of courage. So there you go.
Yeah. And money mindset, I will say, I mean, I used to roll my eyes when people would talk about money mindset because I was like, whatever, money is like a resource and, no amount of what you think about it is going to change the fact that it's a resource or how it plays in the world. But that's not true. So pick up a money mindset book. We Should All Be Millionaires is one of them, one that we read. So I recommend that. And it's almost insane how many not money limiting beliefs are limiting your financial mindset. So yeah, pick up the book.
And beyond that, too, because essentially when you're talking to yourself about not being able to deserve money, your brain just hears you don't deserve. And then you start undermining yourself in a lot of other ways, too. Mm-hmm. So it is so worth it to dig into this kind of thing. And I don't know if it's something that's ever like totally cured, but I mean, air is a resource, too, right? And have you ever been sitting there on a normal day, right? Like you're not Leo in the basement of the Titanic, spoilers, I guess, being like, how much of this is left for me to breathe? You just take it in because it's your right as a human. It's something you need. Money is also something you need. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Right. Now you have to be mean to me.
Who do you think you are?
Just a lady.
We think a lot about who we are, first of all.
I know. We're pretty self-reflective. Pretty self-aware.
I think if someone actually ever asked me this, I would be like, well, where do you want me to start my dissertation?
At the very beginning. It's a very good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't have more to say on this one. I feel like we kind of covered it a little bit earlier. Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts?
Yeah. If you're here, you're already on the self-discovery journey, but it is important to know who you are. So that if someone actually does ever say this to you, you can have a good comeback because what the heck?
Yeah, that actually could be like a pretty good journaling prompt too, is like, who do you think you are? Write down everything that you can think of. It doesn't matter if you write things down multiple times, just get it all out there and then kind of see what the composite of that looks like. That is a very cool place to start, actually. Journaling's on the brain for me. More on that later.
Sponsored by Julie Andrews.
Oh my God, I wish. Can you imagine?
No.
She is like
I would die.
Perfect. She's perfect. Dick Van Dyke is perfect. I cannot think about mortality when it comes to those two. Do you even have the authority for this, Daniela? Who do you think you are talking to me on a recorded podcast that we're going to put out to the entire world so anyone can listen and, you know, they'll know. They will know for sure if you have the authority or not. Your face turned into a raisin.
I know. This one is too real.
I don't mean it.
Too real.
What feels real about it?
Well, this is one of the things that I think I've been working on since we started the podcast, which is the idea of who has authority to talk about these things, and where does life experience and like academic or other certified credentials, where's the happy medium between, you know, if someone says, well, what grounds do you have to be talking about this? I really can't say, oh, well, here's my laundry list of credentials to give you that are like, you know, something that I feel like a normal person would be like, oh, okay, yeah, I see your degree in psychology and this and this and this. Like, I don't have that. So instead it's like, well, I've thought a lot about this and I grew up in this. And so it all just feels like not enough. And so then it makes me think, what is enough? What, even if I got the degree, would I be happy? Would I feel like I have space to occupy in this field?
Okay. Now tell me why you do have the authority to be here on this podcast.
Well, that would... Okay. Because I have been in this realm since I was a kid. And being in the wellness, the like intuition, tarot, whatever, spirituality, wellness community as a kid, I have a lot of really good observations about what it does and how it is transformed and where we've come from. And also, as a Scorpio, I'm just really observant. And I've thought a lot about this. I've had my entire life to think about this. And I have a lot of thoughts, and I want to share them. So, yeah.
How did it feel to say that out loud?
Not great, because I know that if I heard that, I would be like, eh.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard you talking about it, and I was thinking, I cannot wait for Daniela to watch this recording back, because the little smile you got on your face, it can only be described as that feeling when you wrap your hands around a warm cup of coffee in the morning.
I mean, okay, so this is where my hypercriticalness comes in, unsurprisingly, because if one of my friends were to say that, I would be like, yeah, oh my God, please, like, you are great, you are awesome, people are going to love what you have to say, get out there, you know, like, there's nothing, if you fail, you're just going to learn more, you know, like, whatever. And I know that, and I believe those things. But if I were to hear a stranger be like, well, I'm a Scorpio and that's why I have the authority to talk about this, I would be like, get fucked. Like, what are you talking about?
For real. You have a thing with Enneagram too. I have a thing with Scorpios. I'm like, you're going to hurt me.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You disproved that. See, everything can be disproved.
Yes, everything can be disproved. I have also been learning that in this season with my own personal astrological biases.
Okay, so it's almost like you're getting the experience yourself to have the authority to continue building upon these ideas that you are already worthy of sharing.
Yes.
You said it. Okay, next. Sometimes I feel like a lawyer that is hired to be a hype person.
Wait, is this me or you? This is me, right? You don't look how they want you to, so don't even apply. Ugh. I want to vomit. I feel like I need to get that out of my mouth. Hold on.
Yeah, drink your juice, Shelby. God, that sucks. Mm-hmm. Like, I put this on there because this is a thought that I have had in the past where I got, like, I was told that I was in the final rounds of an interview and then I just didn't get it. And that happened to me a few times. And I thought that, like, the feedback that I was getting was like, you know, it was just like a really marginal thing. And I was kind of, I don't know, I was up in my head about whether or not I looked like the other people that were doing the same job, essentially. And I didn't. And none of that has to do with race. It has to do with like body image. And that's a really tough pill to swallow because it's something that I feel very deeply and very real. And I've had a lot of uphill battles about that one. But like to have any inkling that that's why somebody would be rejecting me is like a whole different thing. It goes back to what I said at the beginning of this. Like, you can't talk to me like that. Only I can talk to me like that. And I mean, if the internet has taught us anything, there's someone for everyone, right? There's a whole Only Feet spinoff of OnlyFans. Like, yeah. No matter what you've got going on, someone is going to appreciate it. And I don't necessarily always mean that in like a sexual way either, but that's just kind of like illustrative. Also, no shade if feet are your thing. I'm just saying it's something that wasn't commonly talked about before, and now it sure is. That one sucked. Why did I put it there? Go ahead.
I second everything that you said, and also apply anyway, do the thing anyway, and get the courage to have the self-worth that you deserve to have, so that if someone actually says something like that to you, you can tell them what they deserve to hear.
Yeah, teach them how to treat you. And the only way to do that is to treat yourself the way you want to be treated. I'm going to put that on a loop and listen to it later because that's a lesson that I am still learning. But it's a lesson that I think is worth putting out there to our listeners too. You know, you don't have to be perfect to be in the process of making it work. We have 9 of these left.
Oh Lord.
Are we gonna make it?
I don't know.
All right.
That is a good thing to have on a loop, actually, even as an Enneagram 1, especially as a 1, but anyone, but like, whew, yikes.
Yeah, do it in your own voice if you can. Daniela, you need to dye your hair before you go. Everyone is gonna notice your roots.
Okay, I have a hack for this. So I had a hairstylist that I absolutely loved. She doesn't work the weekends, and so I'm left to my own devices because being a corporate girly, PTO is important. I have to save it because I have a child and responsibilities. So, anyway, when I was dyeing my hair a more vibrant color of red, she used to shadow root me, and it created a lot of depth and a lot of like interest visually to my hair, no matter how it was styled, if it was up, if it was down, if it, whatever. And it gives you extra time between having to color your hair because she shadow rooted me a color that's close to my natural color. So as it would grow out, it just looked like it was supposed to be that way. So if you are someone who cares about people seeing your roots, I highly recommend investing in the shadow root method because it'll help you out a lot. And also it gives you more time in between services. So if you're trying to save money in that way, especially if you're like bleaching your hair, recommend.
Is shadow root one of those things that every stylist would understand? Like, I don't know, if you go to Starbucks and order a medicine ball, the barista's going to know what you're asking for. Is this like the same kind of thing? Because I've never heard of it before.
I believe so. It is a dyeing technique. So, I mean, like, maybe make sure that your stylist is somewhat of an expert in color or like claims to be an expert in color, because if they do, then they absolutely know what shadow root is.
Okay. You know what I liked about that one? I insulted you and you were like, actually, I have a hack for this. And you came back at me with love about it. And then I learned something. I wonder what it would be like if we greeted all of our insecurities like that.
That is such a good point. Ouch.
Sometimes you just want to be heard, though. And I understand that, too. Okay. Your turn.
Okay.
Come on. A nice thing that somehow made its way on there.
Yeah. Ugh. I'm just gonna say the real thing. Should I just say, you effing idiot? But really what I want to say is, you fucking idiot. That is what I say to myself multiple times a day. Multiple times a day. I could make one tiny mistake and I am like, you fucking idiot. And you know what's crazy? To tie this in to you parents out there, this is a habit I picked up from my mother. She does this to herself all day long as well. So, children are listening, and do you want your kid to pick up your negative self-talk?
That's fair. And the only person that I want to call me, you fucking idiot, would be Gordon Ramsay, because there's a chance he would call me a donkey, too.
I want to be an idiot sandwich.
Yes! God, Julie Chen's finest work was being an idiot sandwich. Mm-hmm. She nailed that.
Iconic.
Iconic.
I am an idiot sandwich.
I'm an idiot sandwich. See, but that, like, has sandwich in it, so it's, like, stupid enough that your brain's like, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure, Julie Chen. Okay, Julie Chen Moonves.
You have to say it.
But I don't believe it.
I don't either, but here we are.
What I'm about to say is going to make Fred Rogers roll over in his grave, and I am just so deeply sorry.
I'm ready.
You're not special.
Ooh.
Thanks, I hate it.
I said I was ready and my body still recoiled when you said it.
I couldn't. You're so special and wonderful.
So this one is mine. And I say this a lot to myself. If I'm experiencing something that might make me stand out, because there is nothing worse to me than standing out for something bad, but then also like looking like I want attention. So I just think to myself, like, you're not special. Like, this isn't unique. You are not the first person to do this or the first person to have thought about this or like whatever. Also, I have a story related to this, but unrelated, and I'll keep it short. I was again in New Orleans on a different trip. Actually, I've been to New Orleans a lot. And we should go.
Okay. You heard it here first. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. And I was with my friend, and we were just like out and about in Jackson Square, which is like the main area. It's very touristy, whatever. But Touchdown Jesus is where Touchdown Jesus is, if you are familiar. So it's a thing. So we happened to see Cole Sprouse just like out in New Orleans. And he was with, I forgot his name. If you watch Jane the Virgin, like I do, it is Michael, the guy that plays Michael, but I forgot his name now. Anyway, they were filming 5 Feet Apart, Justin Baldoni's film about cystic fibrosis. And Michael, but whatever his real name is, his fiance at the time was in the film with Cole Sprouse. So Cole Sprouse and Michael, not Michael, were eating dinner at the restaurant across from the church in Jackson Square, the famous one, the one that's haunted. And we were like, oh my God. And so I really wanted to meet Michael because Jane the Virgin at the time was one of my favorite shows. It still is, but I was like, oh my God, because I was engaged and I was like, I'm marrying my Michael. Like, this is so exciting. Like, oh my God. So as we were giving ourselves a pep talk to go talk to them, I was like, God, I don't want to be so uncool. Like, I don't want to embarrass myself to them. And my friend was like, we are so like not special to them. They are not going to be interested in us. They are not going to give a shit about who we are, or they're just going to see us as two fangirls and that's it. And I was like offended that she said that because I was like, we're so interesting. What do you mean? I was like, we're so interesting. And not even in a righteous way. I was like, but we genuinely are kind of interesting. And she was like, they're not going to see it that way. And it helped me go into that experience. So we did end up talking to them. And yeah, and it was fine. But it was like, that helped prep me for that experience, for not expecting too much, because that is exactly how we were treated, like two fangirls. And what were we expecting? But anyway, she clearly saw that ahead of time, where I was like, oh, but they're going to see that I'm different. I am not a crazy stalker person. And it's like, anyway.
I mean, no, you're not a crazy stalker person, which is great. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
But I think with situations like that, where you're running into somebody you know, it's got to be uncomfortable to be the person who is being recognized and like somebody seems to have a whole catalog of knowledge on you and you're just like coming up short. It's like, I imagine it would be like that feeling of somebody coming up to you at the grocery store and they're like, Daniela, I haven't seen you in years. And you're like, I don't remember your name. So I think it's probably fair to say that had there been like a different point of entry, sure, you would have been special. It was just the way that you put in there. Because
yeah.
But
I mean, I guess my point of bringing it up is sometimes it has served me to say this because it brings me back down to earth. But also, there are probably better ways to do that. That's not this phrase specifically.
Yeah, like they don't know you yet.
Yeah, that would have been better.
My mom used to sing us the song from, I think, Barney all the time when I was a kid. It was like, you are special, you're the only one, you're the only one like you. And I have it in my head now.
This is me. You're really bad at sports, so why bother working out?
For real.
Oh.
This one is one that I put this on the wheel. I am still actively working to get over this one. As an Enneagram 3, I have a very difficult time doing things that I'm not naturally good at, period, but especially not in front of other people. So when you go to the gym and you've got these people that are self-proclaimed gym rats and they like understand the correct form for lifting weights and they like understand the intervals and how to really shape their workouts well, and I'm over here like listening to my audiobook on a treadmill, I feel very out of place. And I feel like, okay, so they're just looking at me like, wow, look at this poser, because I guess when I'm in the gym I'm also in the year 2003. Back when posers was really a sick burn. But anyway, so this is something that I am actively trying to get over, because you don't have to be good at organized team sports to enjoy moving your body, and that is something that I am working on.
I can relate. I can't tell you how many videos I've like Googled lately, because I have been kind of craving going back to the gym, but I have the same thought, like, why you're gonna embarrass yourself out there. I have Googled so many like gym routine TikToks so that I can somewhat know what I'm doing or look like I know what I'm doing, so that no one looks at me funny.
Anybody who goes to the gym looking like they know what they're doing had to do something similar. Like, obviously TikTok was not available throughout all of time and space. But they had to figure it out by watching. And I think that some people learn how to do it at a younger age, so it feels more acceptable to be curious about it then, versus like as adults, maybe not as acceptable. Yeah. So I went ahead and closed the wheel because I was looking at the options that we had left, and a lot of them were very similar to things that we had already talked about. So, Daniela, do you have any final thoughts on our little experiment of the day?
I was supposed to remember to say something. I wrote a star on my note paper and I forgot. Which reminds me that I usually always say I have a bad memory. And Lisa, you have told me, I'm pretty sure on a podcast, don't say that, because you're just reinforcing that. Your brain is just reinforcing that. So maybe I'll remember, maybe I won't. But if you were like slightly icked out at points during this, or you felt like, oh, I say that to myself, hopefully you'll remember this the way that I remember the tarot lady. And it takes time, it takes effort to change these habits, but it's worth it. And one day you'll start walking around saying positive self-talk, and hopefully that day you think of us.
Yeah, I hope so too. One of the ways that I have really used or like relied upon to get through these types of limiting beliefs is journaling. And sometimes it looks like Bart Simpson with the chalkboard, you know, where you're just writing the same thing over and over to get it through your head. And sometimes it's not. It's more like, let me dig into this and why are things this way? And I think that if you use a lot of the tools that we've talked about within this podcast, or you may have seen us talk about on social media, like those are all really good tools to help you stop those thoughts in their tracks and replace them with better supported ones, right? Like the idea of self-discovery and journaling and pretty much anything within this realm is to give yourself reinforced evidence that you are capable of things that you didn't think you were capable of. And sometimes the things that you don't think you're capable of are as easy as like going to the grocery store, right? So this is not like an overnight thing. It is something that you need to keep at, and you are worth keeping at this. So we actually have 2 announcements here. I'm going to do mine first. So the first announcement is that I have finally, after 6 years of dreaming about this, put together an 82-page Enya journal that is fillable and downloadable, and it's gorgeous, and I'm so proud of it. And you can find it by searching for Nine Arrowed, NINEARROWD, on Etsy. It is under 10 doll hairs, and I put a lot of thought into helping you to start out with like broader questions that would apply to like everybody, and then narrow things down. And the way that I intended the journal be written is that you go and you do the prompts for your own core type, and then you do the wings and your lines as well. And then you're going to have a better idea of like, okay, what's your natural inclination for going towards things? What's, you know, how are you propelling yourself forward? What are you perceiving to be symptoms of growth versus symptoms of stress? So anyway, I'm very excited about that. The link is also in my bio on my Instagram. So if you would like to work on this type of negative self-talk, or reframing it to be positive self-talk, or you need help finding the evidence that you are special and you are worthy of money and all these different things, then check it out.
Yay!
Yay!
Highly support. Highly recommend. I've read through Enneagram 1 so far, and it hits. We also have another special announcement from the Treehouse. Today's episode actually marks the end of season 1. So thank you for watching all the way through and enjoying these 25 episodes with us. We are calling season 1 our vital records. As you know, we are the Treehouse Athenaeum. Athenaeum is a synonym for library. So this is kind of phase 1 of what we're trying to do. And we're going to take a little bit of a break and come back at you with season 2, or phase 2, I guess I should say, at the end of the summer or maybe early fall. So stick around, see what we've got going on. But until then, you have these vital records to keep you warm until we come back. If you need a recap, we've gone over shadow work, we've gone over astrology, we've gone over Enneagram, some spirituality talk. Lots of things to keep your interest peaked and maybe do some work on your own before coming back to learn what we've got coming next.
Yeah, and we're going to be releasing, we definitely had some episodes that were good, but they weren't to our standards. So they still had really good nuggets in them, and we'll be releasing those on YouTube periodically too. Again, to keep you warm throughout these cold summer months. I guess if you're in the southern hemisphere. Well, thank you, Daniela, for sitting here and being gentle with me in these really hateful words.
Likewise.
Yes, and thank you, genuine thank you to the audience for being here with us and taking a chance on us while we grow. It's been so cool, and we're really enjoying hearing your feedback too. So while we do have a solid idea of what we're doing in phase 2, we want to make it valuable for you. So if there's something that you would like to see specifically, let us know. We might be able to make it happen for you.
Yeah, and we still like to interact and talk on all the channels. So if you have something and you're like, I actually disagree with your take here and I think it's more like this, then I want to hear it, because yeah, this is what we do. We just turn these things around and come to a final conclusion. And if you're like, oh my gosh, this helped me and I'm going to share it with someone that I know, needs this, then do that too. Or yeah, so keep the conversation going. We definitely want to keep in touch and talk about these things, and then we'll see you soon.
One more plug for Dave. Dave's Divinity Dave channel has a lot more content on a lot of the kind of heavier things. So especially with like narcissism, if those episodes are speaking to you, he's going to continue to have some brand new content over on his Divinity Dave. So
at Divinity Dave.
Yay. Okay, thank you. We genuinely appreciate you. We wouldn't be able to do this without all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good summer. Enjoy our voices in your ears, and we'll see you when we come back.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us in the treehouse today. We were so happy to have you. Hey, if you enjoyed your time here today, could you do us one little favor and pass this on to someone else who might enjoy it? We appreciate you so much. See you next week.